So here the question number 21, and here is the figure, and it is showing a XT graph. Three different equal intervals of time are shown. In which interval is the average speed greatest and in which it is least? So let us see first what is basically average speed. Average speed is nothing but distance upon total time. In case of interval 1, it is like this. This is x1, this is x2. This distance x2 minus x1. In case of 2, it is basically x1, x2. Here what will be there? Here distances will be like this. This is one distance and this is another distance. Total distance this plus this. Correct? Please don't confuse yourself. This plus this will be the total distance, because it is going like this and then coming back. But since it is a speed is a scalar quantity, so you don't have to bother about whether x is increasing or decreasing. In case of 3, it is basically like this. Here again, this will be x1, this will be x2, and this will be basically the distance. So this distance is more. Here total time for each one is same, so it depends on the total distance. This is more, or you can say this is the greatest distance and this distance seems to be least. So that means here it will have greatest speed and this will have least. Correct? Now another part is also there. Give the sign of average velocity for each interval. Average velocity is nothing but slope of the XT graph. So in case of 1, it is a positive slope because x2 is greater than x1. So in case of 1, v is greater than 0 means it is a positive slope. In case of 2, again x2, it will be like this. x2 will be greater than x1, then it will be, and in case of 3, it is obviously this is a negative slope because it is x, this is x1, this is x2, but in the negative side this x2 is more, so naturally v will be. So this is the answer. I hope you understood this question. Well, folks, now we will come to question number 22. Question number 22, there is again a graph is given, that is speed time graph, and here 3 time intervals are there. So what they are asking is, in which interval is the average acceleration greatest in magnitude? Now, average acceleration, you know, it is basically in the time graph, it is the slope of the graph which tells about average acceleration, that is dv upon dt. Now, in this case, all the three if you see, this is the slope, and this is the slope, and this is the slope. So in this case, in time interval 2, you see steepest slope is there, correct? So in time interval 2, steepest slope is there. Means where the slope is steep or steepest, most steep, then of course the acceleration will be greatest. So acceleration will be greatest here. Now choosing the positive direction. Acha, one more thing. In which interval is the average speed greatest? So average speed, of course, this is a speed time graph. The speed here is this, here is this, and here is this. Average speed is nothing but whatever 2 points are there, it is the average of this. So in this case, here the speed is greatest, you will find. So average will also be greatest. So average speed will be greatest in time interval 3. Choosing the positive direction as the constant direction of motion, give the signs of V and A in 3 intervals. So here you see the signs of V. Signs of V, since speed in this portion, whole of the portion, it is positive, correct? So in this portion, speed will be positive only. V will be positive for 1, 2, and 3 because this graph is above this axis. This axis is positive. So all the speeds will be positive here. There is no doubt about it. And what about acceleration? Acceleration is, of course, it is the slope. And here you have to see, this is a positive slope. This is a negative slope. This is, you can say, it is parallel slope, maybe parallel to t, or it seems to be a positive slope. So in time interval 2, it is A is negative, otherwise A is positive. You can take in time interval 1 and 3. Suppose if you take parallel to t, then of course A will be 0 because there won't be any slope in this speed time graph. Then what are the accelerations at point A, B, C, D? A, B, C, D. Actually, these are basically, this is here if you make a tangent, So you will find the tangent is nothing but parallel to t axis. Here also, since it is the crest, then here if you make a tangent, it will be parallel to t. Here also it will be parallel to t. Likewise, d also parallel to. So at all these portions, there won't be any slope because tangent will be parallel to t axis. That means a is equal to 0 at a, b, c, and d. Please. So this is the answer. Now we will go to question number 23. A three-wheeler starts from rest, means u is equal to 0, accelerates uniformly at 1 meter per second square on a straight road for 10 seconds and then moves with uniform velocity. Plot the distance covered by the vehicle during another second versus n. What do you expect this plot to be during accelerated motion? Actually, we have to consider during the accelerated motion only. Okay, a straight line or now what will be the distance covered by the particle in nth second? So suppose this is first second like that, then it is n second and this is n minus 1 second. So distance covered during nth second will be nothing but distance covered by the particle in n second minus distance covered by the particle in n minus 1 second. So nth second means distance covered by the n second minus n minus 1 second, and this will be nothing but u n plus half a t is your n square minus u n minus 1 plus half a n minus 1 square. Correct? Let us now expand it. Un plus half a n square minus un plus u minus 1 by 2 a n square minus 1 by 2 a plus a n. Correct? This you can verify. So what is this goes off? This also goes off. And what is remaining? U plus 1 by 2 it should be like this. Correct? Now, so this is the distance covered in nth second. Here u is 0 and a is 1, then what will be there? If you put it 0 and 1, then it will be nothing but n minus 1 by 2. Correct? Now, that means S is proportional to n. So it will be a straight line. When n is equal to 1, it is half. Sorry, when n is equal to 0, then this is S is minus half. So it will be like this. Like that, if you plot it, it will come a straight line because this Sn is proportional to n only, single power. So that means it has to be a straight line. By putting the values, you can plot the graph. So this is about question number 23. Now this is question number 24. A boy is standing on a stationary lift open from above throws a ball upwards. Now suppose this is the lift. A boy is there. He throws a ball with 49 meter per second. So how much time it will take? Lift is stationary. So this will be nothing but V is equal to U minus GT, or T will be equal to, here V will be 0, it is 49 meter per second, and G is nothing but 9.8 meter per second. So you can find out T. So how much time it will take to return to his end? It will be 2t, because whatever time it takes to go up, the same time it will take to come down. So it will be in 2t time it will return 1. Now suppose the lift is moving with uniform velocity 5 meter per second. Then what will happen? When he throws the ball with 49 meter per second, the ball's velocity will be 49 plus 5. But if you see the relative velocity, it will again be 49 only, because lift is moving 5 meter per second, so 49 only. And that means it will take the same 2t time for returning back to his hand, because here you understand it is moving with the uniform velocity. Suppose if the lift is accelerating up or it is decelerating, then of course the acceleration g will be affected and time period will be different. But since it is uniform velocity, so whether it is stationary or whether it is with uniform velocity, ball with respect to the lift will behave the same way, whether the lift is moving with uniform velocity or otherwise. So in this case, the answer will be same. Now we will go to the 25th question. This 25th question says that on a horizontal moving belt, a child runs to and fro from with a speed of 9 km per hour. 9 km per hour means 2.5 meter, 50 meter per hour. So these are parents, these are 50 meter apart. Boy is moving with 2.5 meter per second. For an observer on stationary platform means suppose this is the observer. Naturally, when he will see boy. Suppose it is 4 km per hour means 4 km per hour means 4 into 5 by 18 meter per second. So when he will see when the boy is moving in the direction of the moving belt, then of course he will see the boy when moving belt is also in the same direction. When the boy is moving, then of course this will he will see the boy running with plus 10 by 9 meter per second. Correct. When moving belt is like this and boy is moving like this, then of course this will be 2.5 minus 10 by 9. This will be the velocity with which a stationary observer will see the boy is running. Correct? Now, what is the time taken by the child in A and B? Time taken by the child will be basically it is 50 meter, and since this this is a 50-meter distance and belt is also moving, and since this 50-meter distance does not change, so in this case basically time taken by the child will be nothing but 2.5 meter per second only, because this will not affect, because I told you whether the belt is stationary or whether the belt is moving, since this distance between the parents it is not changing because they are also standing on the belt, so this will remain unchanged, and this this is the time it will he will take to cover this distance. And for the parents, since they are also moving along with the moving belt, so they will always see that boy is moving with 2.5 meter per second only. Otherwise, for a stationary observer, these are the speeds which we find out earlier. He will see like this. But for the parents, they will see that boy is running with this speed only. So this is about question number 25. Now, question number 26 says two stones are thrown up simultaneously from the edge of a cliff 20 feet, 200-meter high with initial speeds of 15 meter per second and 30 meter per second. So, suppose this is the cliff. What you are doing is, this is 200 meter. Two stones are thrown like this. One is 15 meter, another one is 30 meter per second. Correct? How will be their trajectory? They will go up, and when their velocity is 0, then they will go down. Correct? And then they will reach to the ground. Like that, it will also be like this. Correct? Now, what are the equations of motions? That is, x1 will be nothing but 200, or this is x0 plus ut minus half gt square, and that is equal to 200 into 15t minus g is 10 to 5t square. Correct? Your x1 is 0 because you are coming down to earth. That means it will be equal to 0. You can find out t like that. Another equation, this will be plus this is 2, 15t minus 5t. You can find out t here. If you solve this, this will come as 8 seconds and this will come as 10 seconds. Now let us take the relative motion. Relative motion will be nothing but x1 of 15 meter, or you can say minus x will be nothing but 200 plus, or you can say x3, just to make it positive, it will be 30t minus 5t square minus so here this 5t square and minus 5t square, they are cancels out, 200 or 200 also. That means it will give you 15t. So, and this will be 15t into 8 will give you 120 meter. So here you see up to 120 meter, this is the means up to 8 seconds, up to 120 meter, they both the stones are in the relative motion, and their relative motion is a straight line, because this equation is only this is equal to 15t, that is a straight line. It is a single degree equation, so it is a straight line. After now, after 8 seconds, this stone drops, correct? Now for the remaining 2 seconds, this is the equation, which is of second degree, t square. So it is a parabolic equation. So that's why up to 8 seconds the relative motion is a straight line. After that it is a parabola for the remaining 2 seconds, because after 8 seconds, for the last 2 seconds, it will be only one stone will be in the air and will be dropping, and its trajectory will be like this. Whereas the trajectory of relative motion will be like this. So this is the graph, basically. Correct? Now we will go to the next question. In question number 27, it says the speed time graph of a particle moving along a fixed direction is shown in figure 3.28. Obtain the distance covered traversed by the particle between A, that is 0 to 10 seconds. Actually, average speed is nothing but total distance divided by here. What will be the total distance? It will be the graph of this half into 12 into 10. What is the total time? 10. So it will be 6 meter per second. In the next 2 and 6. Suppose this is 2 and this is 6. So in this, we have to find out the average. So this area we can find out. For that, basically we can divide this as like this. This is 12. We can find out this ordinate. We can find out this ordinate by proportion method, and both these areas we can add up divided by this time interval will give you the average speed. So this was a very simple question. Now we will come to the question number 28. That is our last question. The velocity time graph is given. Which of the following formula are correct for describing the motion of a particle over a time? Now, basically it is a VT graph and this is a curve. That means the slope at every point is changing, means acceleration is non-uniform. So this equation is not valid. This is again not valid because acceleration has to be constant in both the equations. This is okay because by definition average velocity is equal to this thing. Average acceleration is okay. By definition, it is this only. Again, this is not valid because acceleration again is non-uniform. Then x2 minus xt1 area under the vertical graph bounded by the t-axis and dotted line shown. Of course, this is okay because if you are able to find out the area under the curve correctly, then of course you can find out xt2 minus xt1, correct, because in VT graph the area under the curve gives the distance. So this concludes our chapter motion in a straight line and its questions also. So our next video will start with motion in a plane. So if you like this video, please do subscribe this channel, and tomorrow we are going to start motion in a plane. Till then, thank you very much.